Hello. Welcome back to Queen is Dead. I'm Sanjeet. We have Dhruv and Karthik with me today, and we have a special guest on the show today, Arijit Paul. Arijit, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so thanks, Sanjeet. Hi, so I am currently studying in Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute. So I met Sanjeet through Letterbox. It's a very strange way to meet people, but yeah. So the way Letterbox market themselves, like let's connecting film people together. So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got to know about this podcast then, and I am a regular listener actually. So yeah, so I'm here today. It's fun, so I always I love that Sherni episode. I was like I actually recommend to a lot of people that listen to this. This needs more like focus and attention. Yeah.
Uh, and what do you study at SRFTI?
So I study sound designing. But
Oh.
sound designing is like the specialization part. But like we got to study all sections of film, and then we go into our respective departments and we study our specializations.
Okay. So this is like a 2-year course that you're doing at
No, it's
SRFTI,
it's
right?
3 year actually.
Oh, it's like a proper.
It's a proper
Okay.
full time course. At the end of the course, we all have to make our degree film and all that.
Okay.
So,
And do they have people from all over India usually, or is it mostly Bengal?
no. It's a pan India. Like it's a pan India admission all over India.
Okay.
It's the same as FTI.
Okay.
FTI and SRFTI. It's the same admission process and everything. Minor things vary. It's the same pan
Got it.
India.
Got it.
So like, how did you get into like watching films and everything? Like, what was your stepping point?
So the thing is, I always loved movies. Like normally, so my parents were like movie buff, so they used to take me to movies. At that point of time, when I was a child, like every week we used to go to theaters, and I think that's when I got the hang of it. And at that point, I used to watch everything and anything, and I was a TV addict as well, so I used to watch a lot. But I kind of realized this in like it's a very cliched story. So I was doing my engineering, so yeah, I got like, what is this? I got bored of engineering basically, like every other engineer.
Similar
so
stories
so
everywhere.
yeah, it's just a cliche story. It will be actually a Bollywood film, next Bollywood film. This
Yeah.
one. So then I turned to films, and so Satyajit Ray, he's like this household name for every Bengali here. So I started watching his films, and I was like very surprised because mostly I was exposed to Bollywood or mainstream Bengali films, Hollywood blockbusters. So that approach of filmmaking was very different. And then I started reading. He has a book, Our Films, Their Films. And
Yeah.
speaking of films, so I started reading those, and there he speaks about other filmmakers like Fellini, Bergman, and
Yeah.
I started watching those, and how it happens. It starts that way, and this was actually long back.
Yeah.
And in those days, we actually had a lot of films for free in YouTube, so I used to just watch, and that's how I got interested in that. That was how it began. Initially, it was not anything like I have to get involved in filmmaking or anything. Initially, it was just watching.
Okay.
But then slowly you get to in that place, and it's like I think it is what Maniratnam, I think he had said, like it's a bug, like once it gets you, it bites you. Once you're bitten, you are done, so you have to. Yeah, so I think he said that.
But aren't like films like a huge part of Bengali culture in general? Like, aren't you like exposed to better cinema than most of the pan-Indian people in general? Like, I'm just curious about this.
I don't know. I mean, it was once upon a time. Like when I was a child, we had a lot of. I mean, as a kid, I used to see a lot of film discussions. As I grew up, I kind of saw that thing, fading away. Like people are not. These days, people don't even like. They're not even interested in Bengali movies. I'm speaking about the contemporary Bengali movies, whatever coming out. They're not interested in that. They're not interested in going to theaters, and that's largely because of, to be honest, poor quality of films. But yes, it was when I was a child. The films were still good, And yes, I think maybe in general we are more because Satyajit Ray, like you said, like Satyajit Ray is one person every Bengali household they must know.
Yeah, or
And
like Ghatak or
Like
something.
I
yeah,
knew
so
this
yeah,
guy
yeah, yeah.
in college. He was from
Uh-huh.
Kolkata only, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, he was kind of praising Ray all the time, and then sometimes it just felt like he was kind of overdoing it, and it felt like he kind of just looked up to other people, maybe his uncles or something, who
Mm-hmm.
actually did see all the Ray stuff. I think this guy just kind of knows the name and knows that
Huh.
this is like a praiseworthy Bengali household thing, and so that kind of I don't know what to say about that, but anyways, like I want to ask, see, you just said it's something like FTI only, right? SRFTI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's totally the
So
same. I
It's the
think
same, I think,
no, I
branch
it's
only.
a
think the course
branch.
curriculum will be different. FTI will have a different course curriculum,
Okay.
maybe. But yeah, syllabus and all that I don't know. Maybe it will be different. I'll have to ask my FTI friends then. But
Right. So, like, what happens at the end? Like, once you make your thesis film, because
mhm,
I'm just saying I'm just thinking of like people who don't go to a course such as that, like for anything,
mhm.
but still they want to get into films. Like if they're themselves making short films and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
what is a kind of discernible advantage for in going to a popular institute like that?
Mm, see, one of the things that I'll say, I don't know. I mean, one of the things it will be, of course, the infrastructure and all that because you learn. I mean, if you're making short films, you will do with minimal equipments, and your concern will be to do it with the least possible things. But if you're coming to SRFTI, so we work with the camera lenses that outside we are not even like we won't even think of getting those, like not even for experimentation or anything. So here we are working with those industry standard, like which are actually used on film sets, like even the I'm telling from, like, I'm a sound designing student, so I'll tell it from like the recorders and the mics and everything. So that you start that very early, so you learn that. So that is one advantage you get. The two is, of course, you're exposed to a huge like every corner of India there are like people coming in, and you just mix with them, and
Yeah.
this exchange of thing is also very important, like you said, na, that Bengali household we know films, but we are just most people just know whatever happens in our area, or maybe if like the eastern region. But now we are like mixing with every kind of person from every corner of India, and we are exchanging these ideas. That's a very like, it just doesn't look like that,
Yeah.
but somewhere it changes you, it influences that.
Oh, that.
And the
Yeah.
other,
Continue. Continue.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, and the other thing is, of course, the professors, they are like some of the well-known people, and the workshops we do, they change you because they just you just start thinking from a very different. You are just like how will I say? I think you're formally guided. There is it. You are aligned. Maybe you have your ideas, maybe you have your techniques and all that, but they are like scattered. But once you're in the institute, your teacher, you can always fall back to the teachers, like, sir, I can't, like, ma'am, I can't get this, I need your help, I need your advice, and they'll just align you. And because they have that experience, and in this, I think making film, nothing counts more than experience, so that is also an added thing.
Do you think like
And
a,
not
a
just
job is kind of more? I don't mean the job which you want
Mhm,
necessarily. Like everybody just wants to make their
mhm,
own thing and make it well, right? But I just
mhm.
mean like, is a job as a quote unquote filmmaker a little bit more guaranteed cause you've done degree from an institute? As in, do people prefer that? Like, say, to make
Mm,
something on TV, or say if you're a sound designer,
mhm.
I'm thinking maybe like a studio might hire you better. There's more chance of them hiring you because you have this in your resume.
I can't say this for sure because I haven't faced that, but yes, it can be a possibility. It can be a possibility. I mean, there's no denying that we have this kind of bias in India. Like, there's a thing with film schools, but more than that, I think more than the name, there'll always be an edge for. I mean, to like say it plainly, I have a friend. He's working. like he just works in as assistant directors and all that. So he always tells me like, what I'll learn in 5 years, you will learn in 2 years. So like that. So he means like I'll learn it faster. So he has to, like, once he cannot start directly as a designer. So he is sound designer. So he has to start from like maybe a production assistant. From there, maybe he gets into a production manager or something like that. Then he
Basically,
gets in.
you start from scratch, right?
Yeah. So but we don't do that now. But we start
You're
directly.
into more of the technical aspect
Yeah,
already,
yeah,
right?
we're more into the core directly. So maybe that, I don't know about the hiring thing. It is a possibility. I mean, in India you can never deny that. Not in India, I think this is a fact.
Yeah,
But
most
yes,
places, I'm sure.
one of, yeah. And but yeah, one thing I think also is that since we tend to ignore the technicalities of filmmaking a lot these days. It has become more like, we don't need to learn the craft of it, but the craft is important. And when you get into a film institute
Definitely.
like SRFT or FTI, your base is very strong. Like, where you're coming from, and maybe you're on set and you know what you need exactly. Not like always, but since your fundamentals are so clear, so you have that way around, right?
Yeah.
So that I think makes a difference.
No,
Okay.
Somewhat
it's
down the
very
line.
interesting. I mean, it's also. I mean, this always gets me to Paul Thomas Anderson's case, right? Because he was in a university and then left it, and it's very I'm very curious about the fact that, do you think like going there's like a ton of advantages, of course, in studying in a institute like that, but do you think like, because you have formal training and like that sort of rigor already inside you, do you think like you lose spontaneity when you come to making films, like when you are doing like stuff later on, which of course it's not a fair question to ask to you right now, but
No, I
yeah.
get it. No, I think by default there is this theory I have. I don't know if it's right or not. That filmmaking is something that it's like, to quote Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street, it's a fugazi. So you either have the fugazi or you don't have the fugazi. So right, so so I kind of think like that. But since all of us who came to the institute, we all have one thing common. That's like, we all love films. And that's not just in the institute. Like, we four are talking here, like, we all love films, we all love cinema with all our passion. So that it helps nurturing that, right? I mean, we might not become the next Stanley Kubrick, but it helps push whatever we are like so passionate about.
Agreed. Yeah,
So that one, that thing is there.
So, bro, just one more thing, just because you talked about the Bengali household and all. I just saw this video. What's it called? Dhruv, I think you can remind me that it's those conversations in the Criterion library that's there in Criterion channel.
Oh, okay. This is conversations as in like analysis.
Is it the Jhumpa Lahiri one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Both of you are right. What one person say?
Yeah.
Conversations. What conversations? What?
It's the analysis stuff, basically, right? The things they do after.
Just a second. Yeah, adventures in movie going.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about the Jhumpa Lahiri one.
Yeah.
So in that, actually, she mentions her household growing up, and it's a Bengali household which is middle class, and there's constant debate going on of like Ray versus Khatak, Actually, this is the only thing I know about.
She actually tells that she's from Marxist family and all that. Yeah. No, but Jhumpa Lahiri belongs to a very different time. During her time, it was the point of discussion, and even like when we read the namesake, like what she has written, and we find those things in that also, because I mean, what Jhumpa Lahiri is kind of like my parents' generation. So yeah, that was then. Now it is not so much, and yes, the Ray versus Ghatak debate is there, but I find that but I find that very futile, because both of them had very different approach to cinema and very different formally. And I mean, of course, we can discuss Ray and Ghatak, but actually, this is again a thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Bengalis are going to like stone me to death now. So I'm just opening a can of worms. So Bengalis have a very big problem with binaries. They have to always be like Ray or Ghatak, or like Tagore or Nazrul, or like East Bengal
That
Mohun Bagan.
exists beyond Bengalis, I can confirm that.
Yeah, so it will be like Hilsa or Prawn. So they always have to do this in binary. So whether this has to be East Bengal or like this side. So I mean, so this is a kind of a maniac of Bengalis are constantly fighting for that, and it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest, because
So what I was thinking,
uh,
like, were the people that into film watching, and were they like that film literate? Because I told you, right, the only guy I know in my generation was the guy I knew from college, and that's he kind of like
now
just
it's
for the
not.
sake of saying he's a fan of Ray, he's just saying it, and like I'm a fan of Feluda. This seemed to be just saying it for the sake of saying it. But like I'm from Kerala, so in that this same time period, maybe like a decade later, then like this culture of film watching and all was at its peak almost, as in people kind of gravitated to the offbeat stuff, and like there's a lot of what do you call it, like parallel films that became a success in the theater also. So I want to know if it's like the same there.
No, I'll answer this, but you just tell me one thing that I have heard this thing that in Kerala it was like in the 80s, Priyadarshini used to make those films and they were like massive hits. And Mohanlal and Mammootty, they used to make one film every year, or like they used to have releases one after the other, and people used to be like either Lalitan fan or like Mamukka fan. So is it like, so how big was that? Like this I'm curious about,
Did you
because
say
I've heard
one
it.
film a year?
No, or maybe like two, three. I might be like
One film a
misinformed.
month.
No, that's also too less. They made like I think there was a year 83 or 85 when both of them made like 30 films each in a year.
My
Wow,
God.
wow.
Yeah, so they'd say they would literally in the morning they'd go give one shot in one city, then like take a car, go to the next city, shoot a song, take a car again, then shoot a fight scene somewhere else, and take a train, go back to the original set. This is like their lifestyle. And yeah, it's like what was your question? Does this exist? Is that like a
No, I
rivalry?
have just no, I just wanted, like, I had heard this very like in a very vague form, but I just wanted to like whether it's like how, but I had always heard about this hype, and like I told Sanjeet that one of my bucket lists is to go to a single screen theater and maybe watch Lalitan,
No, like
and sing the
single screen.
Lalitan
That's the
anthem.
good thing. If you go to like Calicut or Trivandrum or something, you can still find those single screen theaters. I think more than anywhere else. Like I'm in Bangalore right now. I've been to Chennai, and a lot of those are getting replaced. I mean, even in Bangalore, it's like it seems that single screen is turned into a like only the localites, like very working class people go there. Like that's the kind of
Yeah,
approach
yeah.
towards single screen theaters now. Like everybody else is just going to multiplex. But I think in Kerala that's still retained, because the single screens itself, they've upgraded the quality and everything. So they've like invested money into
Okay.
that. So yeah, I mean that's still there. That's a good thing. I guess.
No, because I have just watched their like films like Vanaprastham or like Mathilukal. So like films like those where like he's like performing. He's a very different kind of both of them. They're like very different kind of
Yeah, both of
actors.
them are
But
great. Like they're like top class.
but I want to like watch them in like the effect they have on that what we call mass kind of influence. So mass films we call those
Yeah, I
kind of
mean
the
it's
blockbuster
not as
ones.
much as say like Rajnikant in Tamil
Rajini.
Nadu, or like
Yeah.
any Telugu star in those places. But still, it's there. I mean, the rush is the same in like the first week of release for a big film like that. All that is the same.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's worth going. I think you should go. But if you are into like, if you said like Vanaprastham and all, I think IFFK, if you ever get to go, you should go for it, because it's like a very kind of, it's like a small scale film festival as compared to like Goa or Mumbai. But then like the crowd is really good. You get like huge crowds coming in for like very obscure movies
Climax.
or yeah.
Yeah. So I had heard this very interesting story of IFFK, that there's this Korean filmmaker, South Korean filmmaker. His name is Kim
Yeah,
Ki-duk.
Kim Ki-duk, yeah.
So he passed away last year. So Kim Ki-duk once went to IFFK, and his films were screening maybe, and he came out and he saw lots of people approaching him, and they were cheering and like and he was very surprised. He said like, so many, I have so many films in Kerala. So I didn't even know this place existed. So that was very interesting to
So
me.
what happened is like his name got popularized through like a mainstream movie. So in the movie, like the main character is ripping off a Kim Ki-duk movie to make a mainstream film here. So through that, like everybody got to know the name Kim Ki-duk, and so when he came, it was like a huge rage.
What
Okay.
movie was that?
What movie is that? Yeah,
Vadakan
exactly my
Selfie.
question. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The winking girl wala movie, no?
So
Bro,
sorry,
no,
sorry, I
that's
didn't
like
get the
5
name.
years later.
What name?
Okay. Then I'm
This is
probably.
a
Oh, okay.
Oru-
Oru Vakkan Selfies was Naveen. Sorry, Naveen. I'm saying. This
Nivin
guy.
Pauly, yeah.
Nivin
No,
Paul.
Nivin
Nivin Paul.
Pauly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I went to one maybe 3 years back and 2 years back, I think. And this guy was there. Majidi was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
He was making that movie, no? Beyond the Clouds.
yeah, I think it was just before that. So it might have been
Okay.
2018. I don't remember. And yeah, I mean, I just said hi to him and all. So there were like two different sessions which he was part of. One, he was like he was like mobbed by everybody there, and I got to go to one where it was just 20 people. So yeah, that was good. I mean, it's just a phenomenon that Majidi is attracting crowds anywhere. So
Well, it's good though. I mean, where will you find
Yeah, I mean-
that? Right?
yeah. I mean, like everybody had seen at least Children of Heaven, so that's good.
Children of Heaven. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this culture is like
Because
very. Like,
Priyadarshan remade it,
Oh.
no?
really?
Did he
Which
make it
film?
into Hindi?
Yeah, he made it in Hindi.
What
yeah.
Hindi
Which
film did he
film?
make?
Yes,
It was
I'm
with
curious.
Bam Bam Bole.
Darshil Safari.
Oh, okay. That is
Yeah.
Bam Bole. What is this? Is this like the superhero movie or no? This is something different.
No.
Oh, this is after Tare
this is
Zameen
something-
Par,
this
is it? Directly after?
This is.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
I
it.
think so.
But-
Yeah.
Now, I actually
Yeah.
know Priyadarshan. I know him from his early film, Hera Fairy. I know him from that first, like Hera Fairy, and
But
then
the
I
people
think,
know him mostly through
Yeah.
Hindi
Yeah,
films.
and-
majorly.
No,
And
that's
that,
our outside Kerala.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
That's like saying Rajamouli for Bahubalis. But no, I don't think it's from the remake. Like this movie was kind of played on TV once in a while on some channels. And if you've seen, have you seen that movie Halal Love Story?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. So, anyways, like in the beginning, there's a scene where this guy is in a like he's teaching in a school basically, and it's like a Muslim school, like Muslim majority school, and like in the school they show these CDs of these Iranian films and all that. There's a lot of films that are kind of about Islam and like what's that movie? The Message, or even Majidi made one called Muhammad, the Messenger of God, which I think
I think
Yeah,
that was kind of
A.R. Rahman
controversial,
scored
but
for it,
yeah.
if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
So I mean, there is at least some of these foreign films seep through the culture, like mostly Iranian films.
I mean, Iranian films probably, and I actually think Korean cinema also has the ability to seep through very easily in Indian culture for some reason. Like, I just think stylistically,
Yeah.
I mean, Iranian cinema is very universal almost in whatever it's discussing from
Yeah.
whatever I've seen, right? So I think it makes sense. There.
Which brings me to like what are you guys, your like all of your like favorite Iranian films, or maybe like very close to you, like I'm
So
just
many.
curious.
Sanjeet, you want to go? Actually, Sanjeet, you haven't seen many.
I've not seen
Yeah. Sorry.
Iranian.
Karthik, you want to go
Okay.
first?
No, so
I mean,
I've seen only Children of
Okay.
Heaven. That's pretty much.
I like stuff from here and there. If I want to say favorite, it'll be like Kiarostami stuff
no,
only.
that's just one. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Like mostly, I've seen random Iranian movies also. Like, have you heard of like A Man of Integrity? Or
I've heard of it.
You
yeah.
heard of
Yes,
it?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so I like movies like that also. They aren't by directors as famous as Kiarostami or Maqbal Baf and all,
Yeah.
but I think favorites probably just like close up.
No, they actually have a very interesting heritage. Like pre-revolution films, those are also very interesting.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we like mostly we don't talk about them, but like there are film like recently the one that Martin Scorsese's Film Foundation that restored the film Shatranj Baaz. It's called The Chess Game of the Wind. It's a fantastic film. Like you can't believe like the set designing and color and lighting. And then there's like one film by Darush Mereji. It's called The Cow. And they actually made a film. They actually made a film in the mold of a spaghetti western. So
Oh.
I was like very surprised in Iran. Yeah, the name of the
There,
film
there,
is
there
Fight
was a
Squad.
recent film also. I had seen it. I wasn't the biggest fan, but it was called Pig. I think not the Nicolas Cage one. The
Yeah, another
Money
movie.
Money
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hagigi, right? Yeah,
yeah.
the
It
film
was
is
very
Money Hagigi.
different
Yeah.
than what you would expect from traditional
Yeah.
Iranian cinema.
So they have this thing
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
yeah.
What was that?
What was the name of the movie?
What was that? The cow. It's like a
No,
60s movie, right?
69, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was on movie, I think. Like I saw it somewhere or
Yeah,
the other.
I think it's still on movie, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Or maybe they have taken it off, yeah. So they have some very fine movies. I was very surprised to find these pre-revolution movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'll say Close Up and Where is the Friend's House for my pick.
Nice.
Yeah. Close Up
Pretty
is
like
really,
common choices,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, Kiarostami is generally, I think, very safe choice also. Like just to give a recommendation to anyone, right? Because I think my favorites would probably be. I'm a big Farhadi fan also. So
oh,
Yeah, same.
I'm also a big
yeah,
Farhadi
so
fan.
I need to rewatch a separation, but I think the salesman worked for me a lot, like a lot, and then and life goes on, which surprisingly doesn't get talked about that much from Kiarostami. More than like I know Where Is My Friend's House and Through the Olive Trees is are very famous, but like that second film in the Coker trilogy and Life Goes On is like probably my favorite of all of whatever I've seen of Kiarostami at least. So yeah, those two.
Yeah. What about yours, Arijit?
No, I actually have very weird choices. So, like, some of my favorite are those actually the
Yep.
pre-revolution ones I spoke of. Like, there is one director by he's called Behram Bazai. I think I'm pronouncing the name right. He made this film Downpour.
Yeah,
It's a fantastic film. It's a teacher who comes to teach in a very suburban setting, and he kinds of have these peering eyes all over him. Everyone is suspicious of him, and he is very alienated in that culture, and it works very fine like a metaphor on that society, because the pre-revolution, that society was getting agitated by that point by dissent. And so the film totally works on that metaphor, that if you watch that you will find like, okay, so now you can totally predict that something is going to happen in the next 5-6 years. So yeah, so I love that film.
Wasn't this
Of course,
also
the
in Scorsese's Film Foundation thing?
Yes, Scorsese restored this one.
Yeah, I
Film
think
Foundation.
this is available on Criterion channel now.
I think now, yeah, maybe it's still available. Most of these films I find like from Martin Scorsese. Actually, I have no like, I love that guy. So he just finds these films. I mean, I love Martin Scorsese more as a film theorist or like or a film academician. So he just the way he explains and finds these films, and
Fantastic.
he's-
Yeah. I mean, his
Let's talk about Marvel, bro.
nice diver. Yeah.
now Martin Scorsese left this chat.
Okay, let's
No,
move on
but-
to
Q&A.
the Q&A.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to say something, Arijit?
No. I was
Yeah.
just like, I mean, Marvel thing. I was just gonna say like, recently that trailer made me nostalgic. The one that Doctor Octopus came back. I'm not a big Marvel fan, but recently that one really got me.
Hey,
I really like
yeah.
those Sam Raimi.
Obviously, everyone loves
Spider-Man
them.
movies.
Everyone loves that, like, and we're going to have Green Goblin and like Doc Octopus. I mean, really that.
I wish Sam Raimi directed this film.
He's
over
vanished, right?
whatever
After
he's
whatever
making.
he did. What's the last thing he even
He
did?
produced, I think, Evil Dead or
Don't Breathe,
Breathe,
he
I think
produced, yeah.
But I don't think he's
Evil
directed it
Evil
along
Dead
with-
is a fantastic film. I mean, Evil Dead is
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
fantastic
I love
horror
it.
film. Like,
I think he directed the Evil Dead show, Ash vs.
okay.
Evil Dead. I saw the first season though. I didn't watch it, like I didn't complete it. But it was like the same pulpy fun the original films are.
totally. And the
Yeah,
budget
but-
he shot it on, like,
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. I love all his films. Even like he did a film, I forgot the title, but it was very similar to Fargo, which I really liked, but it's not like as good as Fargo.
It's Fargo.
It has like a very similar setting also.
Okay.
Not heard of
the
this.
title.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyways, let's go to the
let's
Q&A,
move on.
right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, a simple plan.
Karthik. A simple plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some questions from Instagram. If you see in the Q&A, so we'll go to that. We have 3 questions. So first one is from Brooding Thought. How do I see the whole question?
Wait. 1 second. Huh? I'm telling.
Yeah, like I can see the beginning, but it's not expanding.
We'll fill in the blanks, Karthik. Start.
Okay, got it. So do you think we have similar, if not the same genres being fed on OTT? So I think he means,
That's the question.
yeah, I think he means just is the same thing that happened to films and how that degraded almost, or no, I'm misinterpreting it. What does this mean?
Same genres means like what? Like same types of films, basically, right? Like
I think it's more to do with same kind
same
of films.
kind of.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens in like theater
Yeah.
settings, like how it's repeating itself in OTT also. in a way.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing, right? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's
yeah.
supposed to mean.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
Arijit,
Yeah.
you go first with this.
See, so I'll just say, I mean that again, this will come back to the Martin Scorsese thing. So he had actually mentioned earlier in this year in that essay of his, like why content is,
The Fellini.
that thing, and I have like nothing new to add to that, but really, I mean, this is getting saturated and this is getting beyond our hands. Like when the OTT thing came in, we all thought like we have an alternative. Maybe independent filmmakers have an alternative.
Yeah.
But it's just big corporations latching onto it, and they have changed this. And like this content thing has become so much. I mean, I'll tell you like in a very plain way, if I can, like content is becoming something like it is just its purpose is just there to tell a story, nothing else. But a good film will be there beyond that. It will share ideas or concepts or themes, or it will maybe through metaphors or allegories reflect something of the current time or the current society. But whatever we're seeing in content, like we're just watching it and we're forgetting it the next moment. And there's too much of overcrowded this content thing. It has saturated, like, I mean, if I'm just opening Netflix, there's so many of them, and not one of them is, I mean, this is just my opinion though, not one of them is like, I don't even want to watch them, because why would I watch them? I mean, I'll just watch them and I'll forget the moment I shut down my laptop.
Yeah.
Or it's like stuff you've seen already that's like half good, and or like the very popular stuff that's already you've seen and it's there on all these platforms.
Like this biopic thing. I mean, we were joking last month about the Olympics thing and that the biopics will be made, but it's true actually. Like that is how we are moving. Like either it's biopic or it's like the war genre. And I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just putting your podcast on the verge of getting banned, but
Hey, no, we've
fans
said
might be
100 times worse things.
yeah, so they might be offended, like, but I mean, we have still not figured out how to do a war film. I mean, how can like a person be like happy or like being like that kind of like feel like so cheerful to go and fight in a war? Every war film is an anti-war film. Fundamentally, that's how it should work.
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't figured out one single film where at least, even if it's a hero's journey, character's journey, even if the protagonist is there, that person will feel like, I don't want to go there, I don't want to die. Right? I mean, and the trauma of it, the shock effect of it, and the way, and I'll tell this from a very thing it happened like when I was giving my FTI interview for screenwriting. I gave one paper, and I was asked like if I have one thing to one film I could make, and I spoke of how I love this post-war genre, and they asked me like, do you have any story? And I explained to them that I have this story which is actually based on a real thing that I had heard of this major who was traumatized in Operation Blue Star, and like he was traumatized beyond, like he is talking to you normally, and suddenly he just gets into this entire traumatic thing where he's constantly thinking of himself, that he's still there in that operation, he's getting shelled, he might get shot. So he was scarred for his entire life, not just physically, also mentally. And we have had 3 major wars. We don't see one film like that. I mean,
Arijit, don't tempt them. Tell them you'll start making one, and then you'll have 100 that follow the same thing. So
No, but Operation Blue Star and all, it's too. Will a movie get made on that here any time in the future?
doesn't seem like.
Don't think so. It's too sensitive, or it will be like anti someone, anti particular.
And
Yeah, that's the thing. No, if
yeah,
you are
I mean-
making a war film, it has to fit into everybody's sensitive areas.
Yep.
Otherwise, it just won't get
Yeah.
made.
No, I had actually written a script that way, that it goes into this, and it was actually inspired very much from Kubrick's one of those scenes that this guy, he goes into this Operation Blue Star. He is there to shoot, and he sees himself on the other end. Like the soldier on the other end is also himself. Just the uniform is different. And so my teacher, like, who was interviewing me, she said, like, Arijit, this is not acceptable. I mean, they are never going to produce this. They are never going to produce this, and they're going to hunt you down.
Yeah.
This needs more propaganda.
Yeah, so you gave this to me, but just don't pitch it to
Okay,
them,
now we're
like,
going to
you
get cancelled.
Yeah. So let's just,
I thought Sher Shah was
No, Sher Shah is in safe territory, that is. I think Arijit's covered proper ground on this. Like, I mean, what else? What do you
more or
add to
less.
it? Yeah.
I think more or less the problem what has become is most of the mainstream films. Like I think, like I spoke in the Hindi films episode as well. Like in 2019, at least we were getting all these small indie films once in a while.
true.
And like Bhosle and all we were getting, which I was very happy because I thought, okay, all these films will get their due eventually because people will now finally have that only as an option to watch, so they'll watch it, right? But now, like Radhe and all these movies are also coming on OTT. Then what? How will the other obscure films survive, which were like hanging on?
I
to
thought
OTTs?
the Radhes and all will go away once the cinemas open up, won't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, they will.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
No,
But
there is one flip side to this. Yeah, Sajid, go on.
No, just that I think post theater also now they're looking at a different shelf life for a film, right? So maybe if you think that if those films will go, they'll eventually land up there and people would log in to Prime or like let's say like Netflix to watch those particular films. Just to they could like go onto Facebook and be a part of the whole trolling league for a.
But
for a
then
certain
they'll
film.
discover the disciples buried under some.
What is the overlap between Radhe
I mean,
and the disciples?
the people who watch the Radhe, watch Radhe are also disciples, right? In a way, so like that's the link.
Oh my God. Bro, send this in to
That
you.
covers a
to
huge
NYU.
No, that's
No, actually, the thing is, a lot of people are actually still skeptical to hit the theaters. So I know this from personal experience. So people have become comfortable to the OTT thing, that I'll sit in my room and I'll just watch it in my laptop.
They have, yeah. My
Yeah,
dad
so-
has become pretty comfortable watching.
I'm
films
also
on
pretty
his
comfortable
TV only
watching.
now.
Okay.
Actually,
I am not, no.
We all of
I like
us.
going to theater.
Actually,
I
we
still
sent
like-
in one question to Bharadwaj. Sanjeet sent it from our Instagram account. Like we sent one question to what is it? What is the segment called?
Ask Bihar.
Ask Bihar,
Yeah. I mean,
Hashtag
like the
ask- yeah.
topic of it was like films was OTT
It
only,
was,
right?
yeah, something like that, more or less, like theaters or and like OTTs or something like that.
And what did you ask? Like I remember the answer. I don't remember the question exactly.
I asked because I asked K if watching films on OTTs have become like like slightly laborious task, like because there are like so many films to watch, like there are like some 5-6 releases and everything. And
Yeah.
if that experience gets translated while watching on your laptop,
Yeah,
or
and then
TV
and
screens.
then you also said like this thing Sarpata Parambare. It would have,
Sarapatta Parambara, yeah.
it would have been as good or even
Fantastic.
better in a theater. And then
Yeah.
the guy who answered it, he was like, no, I don't agree with that. I think I'm good with watching at home. I was like, bro, what are you saying? You're a film critic. It's not Bharadwaj Rankar, it's the other guy. I don't know his name.
Karam Vashi, the
yeah.
Kannada film critic.
Like you should be the one
okay.
egging people on to go to the theaters. You're like killing a whole industry of which you're a part of.
Yeah.
No. Actually,
Because-
even Baddy even answered the same thing. Na, like for they have this superstar. I forgot his name. Vijay, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Vijay.
Yeah, Vijay.
He made that film, The Master. So like they had
Just
this-
Master, bro. Let's not go to The Master. That's a
The
whole
Master.
different.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. so he made this film, and I think the theater had lukewarm response and everything.
Yeah.
But the big deal was people watching in OTT. They released in 3-4 languages in OTT. So
Yeah.
the major attraction was, so even a superstar like that guy, like Vijay, or maybe I don't know, the other superstar is Ajit. So even if they come to the OTT and if they get this clout in OTT, so I mean it's just the same story.
No, but I think like that will happen in Tamil Nadu, especially the theater thing won't die down. Like I don't think it will, because all these people have that almost a nostalgic experience of the theater,
Yeah.
like of watching these hyper big movies. I'm saying, like that won't
I
go
think
away. But the thing is, if these people who make the biggest movies, like if they shift to OTT, I don't think like filmmaking will be feasible anymore to do at that high level, because that's one thing that happened
True.
with Malayalam, because all the things start becoming indie. Now it's like a big film is almost like a big event. Like there's, from what I know, there's only been Lucifer and I think Malik. That's about it in
Malik,
terms of
yeah,
big
yeah.
films. Like the other, just making a film with like 20 different settings and locations seems like, I'm not saying like interiors and all, but then like a huge
Yeah, I'm getting
scale
the
film.
scale of filming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
that
yeah.
seems not feasible at the moment.
No,
But
even
I
in
think
Hollywood they're
more
doing
than
it,
that.
right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Go
go
on.
ahead.
So I was saying, like, even in Hollywood they're doing it. Like, even like Warner Brothers, they have done this. That the moment their film releases on
Yeah.
theater, they'll release it on
Yeah.
HBO Max. Even Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan
yeah.
and Dennis, they both got like very irritated, and they were like vocal about it. Like, we don't
Because
want.
they are bound to, I think, because I feel why these filmmakers are also preaching to go to theaters is purely for the experience,
Yeah,
and we more or less people discount that idea कि they are going for an experience, because
true.
now it's become like like big films for like family going audiences, but they don't understand like small films also are like super amazing in like theaters. Like
Yeah.
I've
Always,
seen a lot
always.
of indie films like Bhavesh Joshi. I almost like went to like an almost empty theater. I'm not saying it was like a really good film. It was like a fantastic film, but I thought in theater it was really enjoyable to watch a film like that, and like many more, if not
Yeah,
that.
we've talked about the
It's
same thing.
just
Like watching smaller
yeah.
films in theaters is not a
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience to be just discarded because everybody says
Exactly, yeah.
event films are the things to be meant for. There's nothing like that
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Like we've talked about
Yeah,
how
yeah.
photograph was like a great experience in the theater.
Exactly.
And
True.
but what I was saying is like that thing of going to the theater. Also, what happened is this connects back to I was talking about theaters in Kerala, like the single screens and all that. So when till the point I was in school, I was in Kerala. So there the ticket prices were first of all very cheap. Like I was in school and I could still afford to go for movies then. And also the theater experience was much better. Like there was a thing called presentation of the film, right? Like there's no.
Yeah.
But once I went to college, which is outside, which is in Karnataka, then like the only option basically was watching in multiplexes.
Multiplex.
In Bangalore,
Yeah.
there are single screens, but they run only say like the only things you
In
can
pockets.
watch there is only select films. But once I came to college and the multiplex thing took over, I didn't feel like watching it in the theater that much. I did go many times. I've gone like 10 times more than the average person. But then it's not at all close to how much I would have watched if the theaters were just good. Because I hate all the multiplex chains. But then there are some where they just don't give a shit at all about presenting the movie. Like it's just about money for them. And you walk in there and it's just that's the feeling you get. Like let's just buy buying water, buying coffee or popcorn. It's like
That's
You
how they
paid
make
200
money.
rupees for a coffee once.
which college
Yeah,
student
yeah,
is gonna go? I paid $200 because like I couldn't stay awake, but then still I wanted to watch the movie, so I was like, okay, shit, then just leave it. I'm gonna buy coffee, and it was like the worst coffee I've ever had. It's literally like coffee that concentrate and water.
I think it's also because
No, but
purely
that's
you
how-
coming from like a culture like from Kerala, right, where screens thrived. Here, single screens, like from where I am from UP, single screens thrived, but they were only for like a certain section of audiences. Like a lot of people preferred going to multiplexes over going to single screens purely for that,
From a certain
for AC and everything.
from a certain
So
point, like 2007 or something, right?
until then, even I was watching in single screens until that point.
Yeah.
It was purely
This
like
same
after
thing
whatever.
I think happened in Kolkata as well. Like people have more like in the suburban areas near to Kolkata. This happened like because it's like single screen. There's like saying like it's dirty and it's like hot and humid. But why would I want to go there? I mean, I can go to a multiplex. It has AC. But the multiplex, they're not selling the movie. They're selling popcorns, and that's how they make money.
Yeah.
Popcorns make money for them, not the movie. and
And
now
their management isn't good either, I think.
no, absolutely not. But like it's sad, but
Don't you
like
think that's
in
one of the experience wise,
Mhm.
discouragement that has happened to, movie going audiences? Like, I feel like there are so many people
It
who
has.
used to
It
go to
has, it has,
movies
yeah.
at one point who
Mhm.
just don't want to go now because it's just like a
It
matter of
has.
just going. Like, who said it? I think Edgar Wright or someone said it, like, it's just renting a
Mhm.
seat for 2 hours.
Yeah. No, I mean, why would I want to watch a film in a like theater? It's like if it's like very claustrophobic or like it's humid or it's like stinking. I
Yeah.
I I wouldn't want to watch there. So yeah, I mean, but it's like conversely, like the multiplexes have taken up so much
Yeah.
that people are turning less in single screen and they can't. The upkeep is also expensive, so they can't keep up with that. So yeah, I mean, this whole thing is working in a paradoxical chain kind of thing. So.
Matlab, you can't help it, but I
No, I
can't
mean it's
keep
actually
myself
sad,
from not relishing the
We had
experience.
somewhere around 700 single screen theaters in Bengal at one point of time, like in the height of this the golden age of Bengali films. Now I don't know the official count. I think it must be somewhere around 100. So it's really sad. I mean, even in Kolkata, we hardly find any single screen theater. It's all multiplex, and people don't even want to go to multiplexes even. So, I mean, it's very bad actually.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
movie
but
going experience
don't
is
you
very
think
bad here.
they've cost it like this? I think they're paying the price for it right now. Even when they're saying it's kind of safe and all. No, I don't think people are gonna go back to that AC room in a PVR to watch it. I think they've like
No,
ruined it for themselves. Like for too long, they didn't care about the actual movie presentation.
true,
They were
true.
just about selling popcorn.
That is there. That is there. Because
Hmm.
I've seen like they've even multiplexes don't like take care of the theaters that well either.
No,
Like,
that's why you
No,
said
no, no.
you said like I was asking you Sanjit why
Mhm.
you're going for bad films in the theater. That's because like I don't like that process, like in the theater going for something like that and getting disappointed
see,
and having to
I'll tell you
like
what. I'll
suffer
tell you
through the
what.
PVR experience.
I'll tell you what. See, it may sound very, you may not agree to this, but I really like being inside a theater. Like this is it's a probable like I'm not even like kidding. I'm not even like trying to romanticize the whole aspect. But it is actually what it is. I
Yeah,
like being inside the
no,
theater.
I'm saying like,
Like
see, when I'm at home, I'm doing that only. Like, I'm going for literally everything. But then I don't feel like doing that with the PVR where it's like $250 and it's like you can't eat anything for 2 hours. It's like, it's like a deprived experience when compared to the normal thing that I experience.
see, I think I am ready to compromise in that sense. Like, see, that's what I'm saying now. I'm probably one of the lesser people who like the marginalized people who really like watching films in theater irrespective of it being a good film or a bad film. I went for Bell Bottom recently because I wanted to go to theater, and like multiplexes are like closed, but I made like okay, I'll go to a single screen, and that single screen is a little far off from my place.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'll go because I've not been to a theater in like a lot of months. Like my last
Yeah.
film was Sandeep or Pinky Farrar.
My last
This
film,
this
yeah.
experience,
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, no, this sentiment I just share with Sanjeet. Like even I just did it with. I didn't have any single screen, but I went to a multiplex in the morning show to watch Suicide Squad, which I absolutely hate. But I just went in, yeah, and a couple was making out behind me, right behind me, so it was very irritating. So, but yeah, so but I just went in because for the theater thing, I'll just go, and
And
I went
yeah,
alone.
there was
So
a couple behind me talking about dal chawal. What do you think?
so I mean, like, yeah, but yeah, I share this thing because I love. I mean, we have this Nandan thing, and mostly I fell in love with film
Yeah.
actually is from watching in
I've
film
heard about
festivals
that.
in
Yeah.
these theaters, and I mean,
But
there's nothing
the
that can
last thing I
replace that.
saw in a multiplex was
Hmm.
Nomadland, and this is just open.
Judas and the Black
No,
Messiah,
no, just
maybe.
Nomadland, and
Okay.
this is like an open complaint to PVR if you're
Oh
listening.
shit. Oh, is it the okay. You went to the
Yes,
Yeah,
children wala.
yeah.
please.
So first of all, I just check what movies are there, and this is kind of pre-second wave. So it's like
Hmm.
people are just apprehensive about getting back to the theater, but then I'm like, okay, it's fine because the TPR and everything is very down in the city, so it's
Yeah.
like okay. And then I go at that time and Nomadland is there and it said PVR Playhouse. Okay, so PVR Playhouse is basically meant for kids. So there's like slides on both sides of the theater seating area, and then there's like everything is multicolored. All the seats are, red, yellow, pink, red. And I go in there, the movie starts, and the lights don't go off. Okay. So
Oh my God.
the lights don't go off, and there's just 5 people in there. And clearly this is not a kids movie, because Frances McDormand like literally takes her pants off in like the third or fourth scene. Yeah. And then I just walk outside. Like, I don't want to stop seeing the movie, because it's like I'm coming to a theater after a long time. I don't want to interrupt the experience. I just walk outside, and then there's this guy with a suit there. It's not a person who's serving the popcorn. I asked this guy, can you turn the lights off inside? And he's like, no sir, this is Playhouse. I'm like, but this is not a kids movie. Like, there are only adults inside. There's only 5 people. It's just 2 lights in front. Because of that, like it's like watching, like seeing something on your laptop with like full sunlight everywhere. It's like that. Okay. And I ask him, and he's like, he's a robot. He's like, no sir, this is Playhouse. This is the rules for Playhouse. And I'm
PVR
No,
is
you
notorious
should have.
actually.
no wait. There's
complained
more.
to
There's
his
more.
manager.
There's more. Then
Huh.
I'm like, okay, this guy clearly can't listen. I go back, and then I'm like barely seeing the movie. Like, I'm just irritated by this whole experience. And then half an hour into the movie, like the movie stops abruptly in mid sentence of someone speaking, and then it says,
Oh my
and then
God.
not even 1 second break, an ad starts playing. Okay. And I'm like, okay, this must be half the half point of the movie. Then I go out, and then I do the same thing again. Like, I ask people, can you turn the light off? Can I turn the light off? They're like, no. And then I come back, and I sit there. Movie starts again. Okay. Half an hour later, another break. 2 breaks for the same movie, which is a 1 hour 50-minute movie.
And that must be Akshay Kumar coming in and telling like how happy he is.
Yeah,
Oh,
to see all
Nandu,
of us.
foo karna band kar.
Yeah, foo karna band
Yeah,
kar.
and this is taking
that-
place in Playhouse. Like, there's literally no restriction to kids entering here. There's only adults first of all, and they can't turn 2 lights off. Like, that is the minimum personalized experience I am asking them. There's 2 lights, there's a switch somewhere, you just have to turn it off. Like, everybody can actually see the movie, and they're like, no sir, this is Playhouse. This is the rules.
PVR is
I
like
mean-
notorious for their service. Notorious. I mean, they are like the worst kind. I mean, I
Yeah.
hope this reaches to them, but like they are the worst kind.
Yeah,
PVR
of
is
course
very
they're
bad,
listening.
actually.
But no, this is the kind of
Ajay
stuff
Vijay.
that I hate about these theaters. I mean, not that this
You know-
level of things happen every time, but then some extent of it does.
I get it. I understand. But see, I've been persistent with this. So when I went to watch Sandeep or Pinky Farrar, like I had to travel 28 kilometers just to go to that theater where it was playing. Okay. And I've told this story before also, but I'll just tell it briefly. I had an argument, and when I went there, I was the only person who wanted to watch that movie. And they were like, that show is cancelled. I'm like, you cannot do that to me because I traveled 30 kilometers. And if you had to do that, you could have put a disclaimer on the app saying that you're going to do that
Yeah.
if like 0 people turn up. And so I spoke to that manager. I was like, please, you have to do this. You can't do this to me. Otherwise, give me $100 for my petrol because I traveled all the way till here. And I was a little firm with whoever I was talking to. And they were like generous enough to and kind enough to like play that movie for me. And then right after I bought that ticket, 8 people more bought that ticket. So if someone buys that, obviously people are going to come and watch that movie. It's not like people are like uninterested in watching films. So I think it's the management that has to be blamed, and it's not like the filmmakers who are like trying to romanticize the experience. I feel because I've seen people like not like criticize Nolan for like his experience agenda that he's pushing. But I think they are justified in whatever they are trying to do.
I mean, like the experience that Nolan and all is talking about is what, like 70 millimeter versus like 35 millimeter projects. I mean, that's all a luxury here. Like, we are just trying to see
It
the
is.
thing.
Yeah, so even I had this experience. Like I went to watch Newton in a very, I think in the morning show again. So they said the same thing. Like we were 2 people. Like so they said like, sir, we cannot screen this film for 2 people. So we were like, no, you have to do this. And so we had to like pester them for like half an hour, and then they said, okay, we'll see if anyone else comes in. And I said like, you open the counter and people are going to buy the ticket. And the same thing happened. 4 or 5 people bought it, and I think 7-8 people total we were there, and they opened it. But I have faced this like 2-3 times, like they just don't want to, like, no sir, we cannot. Even like this pre second wave, I went the last film I went, Judas and the Black Messiah, so I was the only person, and they were like, no, we cannot do this. And I said, no, you have to, because I booked it from BMS app. So they said, no, you will get a refund. I said, no, I have to watch this film. I'll go and sit. So even if I'm alone. So then later 4-5
Yeah.
people came in. So
Yeah.
the PVR keeps doing this. They're notorious for like doing this thing. Like, we will not
Yeah.
screen the film for 1-2 people.
Yeah.
I don't get the logic.
But
Even I
but
don't.
they've
It's like
also
in
they
this time just
yeah they don't like if you want a movie to be shown also they're like completely hostile about it. Like we've done
Even
that.
we had this experience through Vikao. We had once booked for a screening of Her. So we had a group. We organized this thing for Her, and it was supposed to be on Sunday. So what they did, because Sunday 11 a.m. is like a very prime time, so they said that we have some problem with the DCP and we cannot screen it, and we don't know technical issues, etc., etc. And they screened some blockbuster film of theirs. So they did it once. So again we wrote to them and we kept pestering them again. So we persisted, and then later they did it. But yeah, so they keep doing this, like, just because that Vikao screening will have like little, like maybe 30-40 people, so they don't want to. And it was Her, they know, like, they won't be able to make money out of it. Maybe that's just the thought behind
Yeah,
it. Maybe,
obviously. I
don't
mean,
know.
it's just too much of a corporation kind of attitude. Like like sucked out the whole personal thing from the movie.
And they actually whine and cry, PVR Inox. They actually, the first time Gulabo Sitabo was about to premiere on Amazon Prime, they sent out these
they put
official
out a statement.
statements.
Yeah.
Like, filmmaking is a film is in theater experience. I was like, bro, you guys are the one who don't respect the theater experience, and now you're whining it because the business is going away from your hand.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I get everyone's point about whatever you guys are saying. I completely understand, but I cannot antagonize them completely because I live of that whole theater energy. Like, if you hear Mishkin also talk about like theater energy and like the whole theater experience, I think he like articulated my thoughts more better. Like,
But
I
no,
think
I love the theater
Miskin is
experience,
talking
but
about the Tamil Nadu theater experience. They're even like the Lux
For sure,
Lux
for sure.
cinemas. What do you call it? Sun. Shivam cinemas. No, what is it called? Satyam.
I
Satyam.
think Satyam. Yeah.
I've been to Satyam. That's like there's some chains with some branches where it's like one of the best experiences I've had. Watching stuff. I've seen like Star Wars and all that. I mean, those are
I think
excellent theaters. Yeah, there's no complaining about that. But
the
PVR
culture
and
there is
Inox
also
and all,
very
it's like very
that
different.
way, na.
Yeah.
I know, I get it, but I am restricted, right? I cannot, like, those are they are my only options. I have to go through them only, right?
No, we all want to go to theater. Even people here, there are a lot of people who like want to go to the theater, but the service thing, this entire thing is so bad. I mean, so discouraging. I mean, I don't blame the people actually for refusing to go to the theater. I mean, if the service is bad, if people they're turning away people, so why would they even bother? Not like everyone is like passionate like us, like that they will keep. Like, yeah, I mean, I blame it on these corporations. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they should like improve their service, and definitely PVR. I mean, we have even written to them, but they just like don't care or something like that. Hopefully, post this entire thing, pandemic thing, they will change this. I don't know.
Okay, guys, we need to put a
So,
timer on every question. This was just one
we'll
question.
keep it brief.
Yeah.
We spent half an hour on this.
Yeah, that person will be very happy.
Yeah.
We don't even know if that's what he asked.
But okay, we'll try answering the others very
Okay,
briefly. Yeah.
Watch a Billy asks any movie that surprised you? Question mark. That's the question. Any movie that surprised you? Quickly.
Recently, I think I watched Monsoon Wedding after like a very, very long time, after like 15 years. And I thought it was like much, much better. Because back then I was a kid, so I probably didn't get it that well. Probably I watched like some 2006, 2007. But then like now, I thought it was like a really, really good film. Like I was like blown away by it, like more or less. So I thought that surprised me very recently. Yeah, you guys go ahead.
I mean, I don't like that way. I don't remember. Maybe it's a very common name. There's this Japanese horror film. It's called Ring. And so I had watched this as a child, like when I was a TV addict, I used to watch it in television. So recently I just rewatched it. Like, I don't have TV, or maybe that atmosphere is gone, and that was like fantastic. I mean, even in laptop, it just creeped me out. I mean, those kind of horror films worked on this mentality, this mindset that you're watching it on a television, and it
Yeah.
was made in like 2000, early 2000.
Hmm.
So, but now things have changed. I mean, who is scared of ghosts now? I mean, let's be honest. Like, it's so overcrowded. Ghosts are never going to come. But even I was watching
Yeah.
in my laptop, and I was like totally freaked out, and I was like, this is fantastic filmmaking.
That
Yeah,
movie
that
had
was.
a huge following in India, I think.
Cult following.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I watched the Telugu dub.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't understand a single word of Telugu, but I watched the Telugu
Yeah.
dub first when I was a child. We had these Telugu channels. Then I watched it the Hindi dub, and later I watched the English dub. And but in TV, that those days it was different, right? I mean, we used to get scared from like
Yeah.
Ram Gopal Varma films even.
Yeah.
But
Fook.
Fook, yeah. So Fook
But
was
I think
scary at that point.
Bhoot still holds up. Ram Gopal Verma's Bhoot.
Yeah, I have to revisit that. I'm
I
actually
am a
thinking
huge
of.
Ram Gopal Verma fan. So.
Yeah, me too. I love his early works. Like,
Sanjeev likes his current
Cult.
work.
Yeah. I'm a cult
Really?
follower.
Okay, we
I'm
have to
an
like
RGV cult follower.
we have to have that a separate section for that. Like,
We will do an episode later in life,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, yeah, Karthik, what about you?
I have one which came to mind, but that's one of my 3 picks for later. Like I'll tell then.
Anyway, just it's okay because I think Monsoon Wedding was also one of my 3 picks.
Let's build the suspense. You know,
Oh,
storytelling 101. Robert McKee. Let's save it for later. I have one
okay,
pick.
okay. Then we can like move on to
Yeah,
another
next
question.
question.
The other question, yeah.
Okay, this is our regular listener. I know F1. He asks, is Netflix promoting stereotypes, be it adding unnecessary drama in its docus or overdoing certain themes?
I particularly haven't seen that much of Netflix stuff in the last whatever, like basic, maybe like some 10 things that I might have watched. So I didn't find anything like that. They may be doing for the commercial stuff like whatever they're doing, Kissing Booth 3 and I don't know what part 3 that they've made. But I'm unaware about this.
Who watches
But
that stuff? Like, I know a lot of people do, but nobody I
I
know goes to Netflix and sees that.
I don't like they appear on my page, right?
no,
So
people
I,
do
I
watch. I
I've
mean,
seen like Sex Education and that um, a few comedy like animated shows more or less, but like I haven't seen stuff that may do. I haven't seen whatever Riverdale and stuff like that that also streams
No,
like
but
that.
that's
I'm
like
not interested.
Riverdale is more kind of it's for the teen, young
teen
adult
romance.
audience. Like who?
I mean, they might do. I'm assuming that they
No,
might
that's like
be
if
doing
you like
stuff like
young
that.
adult, that's one of the better made young adults. That's the only qualification. It's not meant for everyone.
I don't know. I'm unaware about this.
It's like what's that? There's these movies like Girls Night. What was the movie? Rough Night.
Girls Night Out. No.
Is it the
Something.
Scarlett Johansson movie?
Yeah. That's Rough Night, I think.
Oh, okay.
Something like
And
that.
then
Yeah. Came out like
what
a
is the
couple of
one
years
with
back.
Tiffany Haddish?
Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I don't remember.
Anyways,
the name.
that and like We Read the Wedding, we've talked about this earlier. That's like a specific section. Like people want to watch that, but that we are not the audience. That's all. So it can't be
like,
like
I haven't
this
seen.
is this
Like
shouldn't
if
exist.
if you're talking about a specific film that did, please mention it in our DM so that like we can talk about it
No, but
later.
I think like what he's just saying is, are there themes or in the just
like
things that are in right now that are just added to?
I haven't seen, to be honest, stuff that may be indicating towards like stereotyping something. Okay, Sardar. So I watched Sardar Ka Grandson, which was a horrible film.
Arjun Kapoor, right? That one?
Ha.
Yeah.
And I watched it purely because of obligation to watch it with my family, and because I thought it was like a family watch. And okay, so that film stereotyped whatever Punjabis and Sikhs and everything, and yeah, like
And
so
imagine
yeah.
releasing it after Milestone. I mean, the audacity of
Yeah, it came out
Netflix.
like 3 days later after Milestone, and I was like surprised because, and that film is like completely horrible. I think I am not going to blame Netflix for that film. I think the writers and the director is supposed to be blamed for that film. If in this day and age you're stereotyping like whatever, if you are like a 30-year-old or 35-year-old, I think you're like quite aware of the of the cultural growth and everything. And if you're still doing it, then you're an idiot. Like I'm just going to brand you as an idiot.
One second.
Because these are unacceptable.
I think what this question means is like, are there themes that are topical or in the news right now? So Netflix and Prime Video are adding it to their own shows just to like spice it up. So he says they are adding dramas to documentaries or themes to shows just to make it, in the news. Like say something like, I don't know. Tell me some topic say domestic violence is something that's
true. Then
yeah.
I think I don't know if it's like a stereotype thing that you should call it, but I think the whole stereotyping of Arnab ka parody has happened in a couple of things that I've seen. But I don't know if that's like the stereotyping that he's referring to.
No, I think it might be like, say, if there's an issue that's getting traction, or like if the fact that a movie has worked with that issue in its narrative, and that has become popular. Get what I'm saying? Then they repeat the formula and into everything.
I think they might have done it with a few, like Sher Shah and all of that, but I think that's like a one thing that happens in like 20 films that they release, I think. So I'm not sure if
but
it's like a
it did not be like an issue. I'm saying even if it's like Kissing Booth, it's like that formula works. So we'll take the drama there.
Yeah, they've become formulaic anyway. I think they've, like, you look at Money Heist, they're like constantly churning out seasons just so that because it appeals to a larger section of audiences. So if you're referring to that as a stereotype, then yeah, they are doing it.
Yeah.
I am not interested in watching those things, so I am a little away from all of those.
I mean, just look at the amount of Narcos ripoffs, or just search Narcos, and the first two results will be Narcos. Then like there's 20 rows of just drugs, cocaine, Pablo Escobar, random shit.
How to make drugs online.
Serial
How to
killers.
make money out of drugs.
Netflix's favorite obsession is serial killers right now. I mean, they're just latching onto it. I mean, I think this brings to a very, I don't know if this is the place for that discussion. There is this thing that I was reading a couple of days ago. This is called new media. And the new media is moving like cinema as we know. Like, I know again, it will be a cliche. Cinema as we know, it's like kind of dead. So new media is like, what it banks upon is, it's just about information stack. So people, they don't want story or they don't want themes. They just want information out of it. So things like these, like maybe this Pablo Escobar thing, or maybe, so people just want to know like what happens in the drug market, how it's made, how it's dealt with, how the anti-drug team, how they capture them, or maybe the serial killer thing. So people are more interested in this information nowadays, and it has become this streamlined, and big corporations like this Netflix and all, they're just they want people to clutter in a group, so it's easier for them to present it, and more money,
low risk investment opportunity. But Sanjeet, you shared something from on the Instagram page, like it was the critic for Indian Express that Shaiju, what's his name? Wait.
Indian Express. I don't know if I shared it.
His name is Sajan something.
Satyajit Srijit, yeah.
Satyajit Srijit, yeah, I know him from
Can
Facebook,
you like read it out now? That post.
Wait.
There was this post that he put. It was like a comment he received on his, I think, Facebook, and like that screenshot post of his on Instagram kind of went viral, and like people started sharing it, including filmmakers and all.
Is it the caste related issue?
Yeah, can you read it out?
Okay, I'm going to read it out. So Satyajit Srijit posted, every time there's a caste related issue, some desperate Savarna liberals will jump at the opportunity to show that they are championing an oppressed community's cause, but end up getting more attention than those who really deserve it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this it? Like there's more, right? Like there was something like about the movie.
Wait. Is it the one you cut that question out? I think the excerpt out. I think it's if someone made a film like Goodfellas, Casino and Raging Bull in India, just imagine how many people are going to misinterpret them and come up with long articles on their political correctness.
Yeah, totally. It's toxic.
Is it the one?
It's toxic masculinity.
Is it the one, Karthik, you're talking about? Because I think these are the ones he posted in the last
I think this one I saw. He posted on Facebook. Just this Scorsese one you
Yeah.
were saying. I think I saw this one maybe.
No. It's something like yeah. Go down. There's a guy Sanal Raj
Okay.
who it's 5 days ago.
Oh, okay, the comment. Okay. You delete everything else before this.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
delete.
People have stopped treating cinema as an experience and rather become a task to portray their intellect or to prove themselves as some kind of social justice warrior. Already seeing the after effects mediocre garbage is being praised for being politically correct, while well made and written films are being torn apart because it doesn't apply to their criteria.
Yeah. So this was a comment on his post, and this kind of a lot of people I saw shared it. Like I'm just looking at his post. His next post is 16 likes. This one is 2071.
Oh yeah. This was became slightly viral.
And I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
this indie filmmaker share it, and his caption to it was like, "Don't reduce a film to an experience. A film can work in a social and political context, and it can inform as well." And I was
I
like,
mean, this is like a different topic for debate itself.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
this will like
I mean-
this needs a separate episode.
"We can cut this into
Yeah.
2 episodes, guys. No problem."
You want to do it? Okay, fine. Then let's go ahead. If it's
Then,
like 2 episodes.
then yeah, no, but we have more questions, no? Like
No, that's it.
You're
That's it.
still on
We
the
don't have
Q
any
and
more.
A, guys.
Okay.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spent half an
We're
hour
waiting for you,
Okay,
bro.
so Dhruv is back.
Hey,
Disclaimer.
yeah, so-
Dhruv is
I
back.
don't know
Dhruv
how
can start
badly
this
this will
one,
go.
like-
My recording is also going all up and down here. Like all the waves are going mad. 1 second.
Arey, no, don't worry. We'll
Wait,
figure something
man, I
out.
don't want to have like a big problem on like the edit and all. Wait.
No.
We'll cut
We
it
record-
out,
I
bro.
think
It's fine. We have.
Yeah,
Karthik,
no,
you're only editing this,
It's
okay?
gonna be a nightmare. Sorry, Karthik.
No, that's fine.
No, Karthik is pretty
Okay, I think
okay
the
with
volume
editing.
is fine now.
He's,
Can I?
good at it.
Can I?
If we
Like, if
want,
you're
we
okay,
can.
then I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm
you don't
fine.
know how happy I am about
If
that,
you're fine, then I'm fine.
considering what initial response we got for that. But Sanjeev told me, and I was like, I'm shocked.
And no, bro, like
God,
you see the
that's what I
stats.
reported.
Actually, the long stuff is getting more. views.
Yeah. It's getting more views.
Yeah.
I checked.
More than
Shade
the
Sharp,
half an
yeah.
hour stuff and 20-minute stuff and all.
I don't know about others,
yeah,
but I enjoy you guys like when you speak of the long.
Thanks, bro.
stuff,
Give a
so-
testimonial while we are recording, please.
No, seriously, because I used to follow it
Karthik,
like
put this part in the beginning.
Yeah. I enjoy
Yes,
you guys. Jadoo
I
mat.
really, I enjoyed that. I mean, again, I'm repeating myself. Like the Shane discussion was like fantastic. I was like, I mean, this is how podcast should be. And trust me, I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, contrarian is fine.
Yeah.
Contrarian is fine. I think it's more to do with like. I think it's always.
no,
if
but
you make
this
your
is
point,
the
then you're
thing,
more
na,
than
like,
welcome to be contrarian.
like people like nowadays they have become like whatever I am saying that is the ultimate truth, that is the superior and supreme truth. So no other perspective.
Bro, so
Yeah.
we are used to that. So I'm like wondering why in that episode I'm wondering why Sanjeev isn't saying more. Like that's what I told him. I was like,
No,
you should.
for me it was like whenever I like a film,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always look for like someone who hasn't liked it.
Mhm.
So even in the institute this happens, like so I look for people who, or maybe a film that I didn't like, so I look for a person who has liked it, and I just want to see what is different.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Actually, this is something we like get from people also. I think they're just expecting people to like fight over it and go crazy.
yeah. And since you guys like spoke in a very detailed manner,
Yeah.
it was not like you guys were not like dropping like edgy people do on Facebook, like just to say like Tarkovsky is badly. You guys were not doing that. You guys were like detailing on it, elaborating on it. So that was more interesting to hear the perspective, like why.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you convince others to your like point of view towards a film or your interpretation, then I think it works.
Totally.
So,
Karthik.
Dhruv is back, guys.
Yeah.
After technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But
You can just say like the PVR guys, inconvenience caused is regretted.
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Don't do this
yeah.
next week when Paul Schrader is here, bro.
Delhi electricity you can blame. Okay, it's not my.
I just sent an invite to Paul Schrader to join
He's
the
coming, yeah.
podcast.
promote his new film, The Card
Yeah.
Counter. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it's called, right?
Yeah, counter.
Yeah.
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 Perfect.
So yeah, what were we talking about?
the general discourse, okay, I'll
Cinema has
repeat.
a responsibility, something like that. It was
I,
like.
I'll repeat the excerpt so that
at
Dhruv is
2x speed.
also. Okay, people have stopped treating cinema as an experience rather than become a task to portray their intellect or to prove themselves as some kind of social justice warrior. Already seeing the after effects, mediocre garbage is being praised for being politically correct, while well-made and written films are being torn apart because it doesn't apply to the criteria. Huh. Okay, so what do you think about
No,
this?
and I said like I just saw an indie filmmaker person. I know him actually. Yeah, he shared
Are you
this.
talking about?
Hey, let's not take his name, bro. Why do you think I'm saying indie filmmaker
Okay,
vague
okay.
terms?
You beep, you beep. Okay.
He's that
Okay, Dhruv has
indie.
left again.
Yeah,
Okay, Dhruv has left again because of technical issues. So anyway,
it's fine. Let's continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like he said. Yeah, I told you, like he said something like a film has to fit into the social and political context and blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then don't reduce it to a term like experience while talking about films. It can be much more than that, and I don't know what that means. I think like the experience is the ultimate, right? Is there
Yeah,
something
I think
beyond
it's
that?
I'm like in disagreement with the filmmaker, to be honest, because I don't think so. That is what
With
the
the
film was
filmmaker,
made in
yeah.
the first. Yeah, with the. But I think like how you said, experience is like the ultimate thing. I think it's like the number one thing that should exist, and then your other things um, like have to fit in according to the experience. Like I think your primary agenda shouldn't be like spelling out your uh, social issue as such, but if it fits the experience, like if you make people like let's say Thappad, for example. I really like Thappad because I think it worked purely as a film first, and then it added to the whole social thing that it was trying to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think if you do it that way, then it's great. Like it's but if it's like you're like talking about like the major issue, like let's say this film came out, right, Night 2, right, and people went berserk because they disagreed with the politics of the film. But I'm like, it's a well-made film. Shouldn't that be like the number one thing to talk about? And then you can like talk about like whatever politics about the film and your disagreement to the politics. So I
Unless
think
it's
that
like,
is my take on it.
dangerous, like, it's saying
I think
terrorism is good or and something crazy like that.
no. I'm not saying that. Obviously, like extremism is obviously wrong. It's like obviously Rennie, क्या बोलते हैं, who was that Stephen Hall,
Lenny
Riefenstahl, who was that
Lenny
Riefenstahl.
Riefenstahl. Lenny
Where's
Stephen-
Dhruv when
yeah.
you need it?
Okay, so she was also making propaganda films for Nazis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but like Scorsese loves that movie, right?
He loves the
So,
technical side of it. Meaning, like,
I mean, yeah, I mean-
reinvented the
I mean, I'm-
documentary almost.
I mean, I'm talking about that aspect only.
Yeah.
Like you can appreciate that aspect over talking about the wrong part of it, the morally wrong part about it. Obviously, it is wrong. Like no disagreement there. It's just that you as a filmmaker or someone who loves watching films should be the first one to pick out what really works in a film and what doesn't. I think that is my opinion on it.
I think it's as stupid as saying, like, songs, don't reduce songs to the experience of listening or something like that. Like, what are movies for if not meant for watching, and watching is just a synonym for experiencing when it comes to movies, right? You're not just watching through your eyes, you're like listening, and you're like, yeah, I mean, other than that, what is there? Are you just like an activist who's like sending your activist message? I don't know.
I think if the objective of the film, like let's say an activist is making a film and it is purely for like activism purposes, I think then if that is his intent, his or her intent or objective, and if you're trying to like literally put it out there, ki I am doing it purely for that, then I think, like let's take like a very bad example and talk about like Narendra Modi, the film PM Narendra Modi, right? And it is fairly obvious, and I think they didn't hold it. They are not trying to put out the agenda or whatever. They are making it fairly obvious that they are doing it for that. And if you're okay with that, then I think it's fine, because I think that is the intent and the objective of the film. But you can critique the film for whatever it is, like purely on the making basis or like whatever you want to appreciate or something as well. So yeah.
Well, let's not talk about Narendra Modi, first of all.
Yeah.
If you understand the intent of and objective, like the second point of it, then I think it's okay. Like the first
But-
experience and the second is intent and objective, I think.
But I'll just cut across here. But Sanjeet, like, don't you think, like, in a country like ours, like, I mean, I'm not underestimating the intelligence of the audience, but like sometimes, I mean, they do influence people. Like, I mean, even we had what was the name of the Shersha? I think the name of the film is like.
Yeah.
So many people are getting angry and annoyed because we are saying this thing that this is not how
Yeah.
war films work. This is not how soldiers film like feel, and but they're
But I
like saying
think
no.
that's a very small number also, I think, who didn't like
Is it
for like the for the war thing. Like I think
Okay.
there is like a very small section where people were criticizing it because it promotes war. I think
I don't know.
it
I
doesn't
mean-
set out itself. I think it doesn't set out itself to be an anti-war film in any way. I mean, I critiqued
Yeah,
it purely
no.
because I thought it's like a poorly made film, not like
Yeah.
for the moral stances it takes.
I get
to be
that point.
honest.
I get that point. I mean, I meant it like you were saying like the intent versus objective, right? So sometimes it so happens like the audience can be like influenced through it. I mean,
They can be, yeah.
Yeah, Satyajit
No
Ray
doubt.
had once said like, why theater is so influential, like because you're sitting in a big theater. But he had said it in a very different context. But like you're sitting in a theater and the film is talking to you, and you have no option to talk back to the film. And you're sitting with a collective, so somewhere in your subconscious it seeps through. So maybe
It does.
It doesn't work like that. Maybe not like now, like we are watching an OTT
But
or
let's
something.
say, it doesn't it also depend on the intellect of the viewer as well, so as
Yeah,
to
so I mean,
what
that
to
is well, like, I mean,
apply to
if-
their life and their moral stances, what they want to take from that. I think it also depends on the viewer. If you keep criticizing it purely on like moral basis, and this is purely my opinion, you can like completely disagree to it.
No, I'm just
If you keep judging a film purely on its moral stance, I think you'll never be able to enjoy a film ever, because you'll constantly be in that mindset to I think you can criticize the filmmaker for that, and you can do it wholeheartedly for whatever if it's like promoting like a wrong moral stance, or objectively wrong moral stance. But criticizing the film for like a moral stance, I personally don't agree to it.
What I think is
Yeah.
like I can name 100 filmmakers that I like. Okay. And they made a bunch of films, many films, all of them. And out of that, I don't think even 1% of it is constituted with films that simply drive a political opinion or social context, fitting ideas, and made with the purpose of that. Right?
Yeah.
This is such a narrow margin, and for some reason everybody is like concentrating on this, and it's happening especially in Malayalam. Like it's, I don't know why, like they're just taking some issue and then just like what do you call it, just retrofitting it into some narrative, and then the filmmakers say our intent was to this cause was our intent, and then it's like this is like nobody does this. The maximum I can think of is as a cause for making a film that the great filmmakers of the past have said is they want to initiate a discussion. I mean, that's the extent of what I can think of, right? And
totally.
when I think of people around the world who are making issue-based films, okay, one name that's like a very common choice is Spike Lee, okay. You see something like Do the Right Thing. There's like maybe 4 different issues that can you can that the movie is talking about. Okay, there's everything from racial prejudice, gentrification, right down to something like global warming, right? But that movie is so cinematic. Like if 100 years from now, if like people are still watching movies and like all those issues were wiped out, like those things don't even exist, like that movie will still be relevant. Like these
Exactly.
things with this with this
totally.
activist issues being like on hold in, like they're not gonna hold up maybe 5 years from now. Like that's what I think. Like just they say about if you're making a joke, or if you're they say when comedians are making jokes, like if all your material is based on the news, it's like 1 week from now no one will want to watch it.
Yeah, true.
Like it's
Because
already dated.
dated, yeah, completely.
Yeah, and I don't know, if you don't have the experience, like what else is left? Like why are you doing this? Especially to hear like somebody who's a filmmaker say this, that's like ridiculous. I'm like, why are you even making anything?
Yeah. No, it's fair point.
Like I know that say in a song there is no real narrative. Like there can be, and some songs and all with the lyrics they do have it, and even otherwise. But it's like, can you imagine saying like, why would you want to listen to a song? Like don't reduce it to listening. That's like so stupid. Like movies, you go to a theater, what do you go there for?
Do you carry placards with yourself when you go to theater?
Yeah. I think
Like-
the people who believe this are more activists than filmmakers. You know?
Yeah.
Like even somebody like David Simon, who made The Wire. It's like this is a guy who had first-hand experience in working in
Baltimore.
Baltimore, in the drug scene. Like he's dealt with courthouses and the cops and everything.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't just go make, and he's himself told plainly and clearly he's not interested in the characters in the thing. He's not interested in the thing. The only thing he's interested in is the war on drugs, the issues at hand. Okay, but then he doesn't just go and make something about the issues and then like fit a story around it. It's like the most intricately made TV show ever, and it's like praised as one of the greatest shows ever because of that.
If you get your hands on the book, do read that. That is also like, I mean, fantastic book.
I mean,
The one that is
that's like, if people aren't gonna watch that, then what are they gonna do? Like, why would they even get to discussing the issues in the first place?
Otherwise, they're all full-time activists only. No?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, that the so-called woke generation. Again, I don't want to open a can of worms, but like, yeah. So we are just. I mean, you guys pretty much covered this. That we are reducing this a pretty reductive form of like looking at any film. Like, I mean, if you are like. I mean, that is what happens. I think the Leni Riefenstahl example, it works pretty well. Like if you're not, I mean, it's just not going to work if it's just made for the. I mean, that's why the film, like, no, we just admire the craft, right? But the experience doesn't hold anyone. I mean, I'm not going to like get goosebumps watching Triumph of the Will.
Yeah, when I see like these people with such opinions, like what I think is, do these people not like actually watching it? Like, are they not in love with watching movies, and are they just in it just for the sake of what they read in a think piece about another movie they watched? Like, isn't watching the priority? Kind of like, for me it's like I can watch any number of films at any time, like, because I know there's a wide variety of it there, and for me, like, loving the watching experience is first.
I think this trend started with that the Arjun Reddy remake in Hindi. I forgot the name.
I think the whole social media boom and the whole
What was
Arjun
the name of
Reddy.
that film? Yeah,
Kabir Singh.
Kabir Singh. That it just started with that, I think, and people, and around the same time Joker came out, and both these films kind of like this entire thing came out, that test the film, whether it has to be like a statement or, I mean, I was just watching this Korean film the other day, The Chaser. So I mean, and I was constantly thinking in mind, what if I adapt this in a very Indian context, maybe in a very like Kolkata and all. The first thing I was like thinking, like, anyone watching that film, they're going to say like, hey, come on, you're just glorifying a serial killer. I mean, but that's not the case. But the film is, it is showing a serial killer the way that person is. I mean, if I'm showing it appropriate, then I cannot show a serial killer. Then I'll have to show that the serial killer is also empathetic.
Yeah.
Which he is not. He is a psychopath. I mean, but I'm not glorifying it. So this entire thing has become like like it just snowballs into something else, and people are like, you're glorifying this, you're glorifying that.
Yeah, but let me just say, like, there are couple of films which do deal with it well, as in the movie itself is good, and there is like an issue behind it. And I think the best example in the past few years is Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I mean
absolutely.
that is like
Absolutely.
masterful filmmaking first of all,
True.
Yeah, yeah,
and then it's dealing
The
with all
opening
these
sequence
issues.
itself.
Yeah.
The opening
yeah, yeah,
sequence in itself is like
I
totally.
mean, that's just a master filmmaker. Yeah, like he's like hooking you in, and then he's like, giving you new shit. Like it's completely original, first of all.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like it's like you don't even notice these issues that are being talked about. And then in the end, when you think about it, there's
Exactly.
like a lot to it.
Exactly. I think
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
why I
yeah.
loved that film like completely, because I thought it's not an exclusive thing that it is doing and talking about social issue. I think it's the whole undercurrent and how he plays with those characters and builds up to that,
Yeah.
to make you realize what you're doing wrong. Maybe.
I think that's
I
a
think
movie first, right? Like that's a film
exactly,
watching
exactly.
experience
That is why I
first.
absolutely
Totally.
love that film.
But then
Even
that experience of watching it makes you want to think about those topics. Like I don't want to. I
Exactly.
see some issue based films and all. It's like boring as fuck. Like why would I want to see it first of all? And like I'm not gonna even get to the point of like discussing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
issues at hand.
yeah, completely.
So we had
I
this
mean-
line, na, don't be a film, don't be a moral science teacher. So like, yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
I think Hitchcock.
But,
Someone said. I think Hitchcock only said like if you want to send a message, go to Western Union.
This
Yeah.
episode is going to completely contradict the episode that I'm going to put out next, and this like comes out later. Anubhav Sinha films.
Ha. Okay.
It's going to completely contradict that episode. But anyway.
So
No.
anyways, so the thing is we have gone on in this episode for too long. So do you
Yeah.
want to do one thing? Do you want to I forgot that there's a fourth question.
There is one question Rohit sent.
Okay.
So do you want to
asking about-
ask that now and then we'll just take a part 2.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Is that okay, Arijit?
Like,
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
problem.
So this is the last question because this episode is too long. We're going to split it into 2 parts. And this is the fourth question, which is favorite Robert Altman films. This was sent by Rohit Satish Nair. He was on an episode of ours. If you've not checked out the episode on Malik, do check it out. It was maybe like 1 month back, I think. Yeah. So
Arijit, you go
favorite
first.
Robert Altman films. That's his question.
Okay, this is like, I mean, I have watched very few, so I don't know.
Even I have not seen everything. I've seen like some 5-6 Altman films only.
And I had watched them like way too like early, like 2014,
Okay.
15. Like, I mean, I don't even like Nashville, perhaps. I don't know.
Okay, like there are 3 films that are like my like all-time favorites, and one is Long Goodbye, which seemingly inspired PTA and his films and everything. Like I'll keep it brief, okay. And the second one is Three Women, which interestingly is a film that Altman dreamed, and then he like went and made a film based on his dreams, which I absolutely love because I think it's a very mad movie. It is based around like one concept, but it's not like just it's meandering and everything, obviously, but the way it leads up to that, it's quite crazy in a sense. And the third film that I absolutely love is The Player. Because of the whole meta nature of it, and I have a certain bias towards films that are about filmmaking or films or like based in the film industry
Oh, okay.
or something like that.
I
So,
love them too, right? Yeah.
so I love The Player. I haven't seen a lot of the others, so the only Altman film that I watched and didn't like was Gingerbread Man.
What is that?
But it's a movie with this guy, who's the
Oh, Kenneth Branagh.
director of Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, I didn't like it, but it had a lot of production problems. So it might as well be the reason why it didn't work and everything. But I think
What was
more or
that
less.
film? That one. Sorry, I mean, just what was that film like in the casino? I mean,
Oh,
it was about
California
gambling
Split.
or some
California Split, yeah. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
so I think these are my favorite Altman movies: Three Women, Long Goodbye, and The Player. I also like Gosford Park, but it's not at the level of these 3 films. The kind of love I have for these 3 films. Karthik, you go.
I've seen, I think, maybe 10 or so, which isn't much because he has a very big filmography.
Yeah, some 20-25, I think.
Yeah, so I've seen Long Goodbye, Player, Three Women, MASH, Macabre and Miss Miller, California Split, uh, Secret Honor, Prairie Home Companion, maybe like one or two more. I think my favorites are probably Long Goodbye and maybe MASH. Yeah, like those two are.
MASH I'm yet to watch.
It's I don't know what to say, but I like all his movies actually. I like even the
Yeah.
like
I need to watch more Altman movies. Like listening to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't watch much.
they're
American films
they're
these
so
days.
original. First of all, like there's
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Plus, I think the other thing that appeals to me is his style.
Yeah.
Like it's so distinct, and it's like you don't realize it, but he's like subconsciously getting into the whole film.
Yeah, that's every movie of his.
Yeah. And that's like what happened with Three Women, and I was like completely blown away because I didn't realize it. What he was like trying to do with, like, let's say even like camera and like sound and everything. And he's like pretty famous for his like sound design and everything.
Sound
amongst,
design,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I read actually that part, like his
Yeah.
sound designing and all that. So
I
was
actually got to know more about it through that one podcast with like Safdie's and Paul Thomas Anderson did, and but I think it's the craft also that gets you into that whole experience, and by the end of it you realize, oh shit, it was great, and now I'm out of it. Aisa. So I think it's very rare that happens now, at least.
It's a very
I mean,
unique
that's with
style. Like,
Paul Thomas Anderson also. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
no, it's just a very unique style. Like you can't really describe it. I don't know. Like you can say that he's doing the multiple people talking at once thing, but then there's a lot more happening. Like I can't really tell. Especially something like Macabre and Mrs. Miller and California Split. California Split, like 20 minutes into it, I was like, what is this? I don't know what is happening.
Even Gosford Park is sort of like that. Like you'll watch it, it's like the first act is something else only. Like you can't even like divide it into like first act, second act, because the action it takes place, how it goes from like so it's basically the whole film takes place in one house, okay, and it's about like a family that meets and a couple of friends that are coming together.
It's like a whodunit, right?
And it's a whodunit, but you don't realize it's a whodunit until the end of it. But because it's like completely meandering into like people talking like something else, and it's like constant like engagement in a sense. So I think I really love that style. Yeah.
Alright, so those were the questions from the Q&A. Now you have to tune into the next episode to find out what happens. What else? Anything else to say, Sanjeev?
No, not really. I think if you like this episode, please share it, and you can DM us suggestions or something that you disagreed with in constructively. If you want to like put out like a message to us, please DM us on Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram. And
What constructively, bro? Fight us. Come on.
Okay, yeah, so this is the episode. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next episode, the part 2 with Arijit. Yeah, that's it.